Hi, and welcome to our presentation. My name is Alicia Wenzel, and I'm here with my colleague Cindy Ryan. We're professors in a small liberal arts four-year college in Oregon in the United States. Our background is in education, and we're faculty in our university's College of Education. We were also teachers before moving into higher education. Thank you for attending our presentation, and we just wanted to extend our gratitude to ICERI for including us in this year's conference. Cindy and I will take turns sharing information about our project and welcome questions, suggestions, or your own experiences related to planning and teaching courses for new students. Our contact information is at the end of our presentation, and as a note before we get started, we only have about 15 minutes to share, so please dive into the paper if you want more details and references.
Our project is based on our experience last winter as co-teachers planning and teaching a first-year seminar for students new to our campus. These first-year students are incoming freshmen or those transferring in from other colleges. As many colleges struggle to retain students and are always seeking best practices to help students learn a variety of knowledge and skills, we sought out to design a first-year seminar in a blended learning environment consisting of face-to-face and online elements each week across a 10-week term that had writing as an academic focus. We designed the course to help new students acclimate to college life and requirements, develop skills, both academic and career readiness, increase retention of new students, and use high-impact and innovative pedagogies, including empowering students in their learning, providing meaningful learning experiences, embedding technology in relevant ways, creating an effective learning environment that meets student needs and interest. Yes, this is quite a bit to pack into one term, but we felt we could do it effectively, especially if students felt the course was meaningful. So we had the class center around students' personal experiences that they drew upon for all course activities and assessments. Our driving question was, how can we create a blended learning first-year seminar that effectively welcomes, engages, and retains new university students while strengthening skills needed for success in and after college?
To help us with planning and how we facilitated students' learning experiences, we explored 6 key areas of the literature, including educational frameworks that focused on constructivist theory and practices, high-impact practices and innovative pedagogies that were appropriate for college students specifically in our context and for our student population, practices that promoted inquiry, writing, building community, collaboration, college readiness skills, and information literacy that helps build persistence, retention, and assist with the transition to college. We also were looking for practices that were student-centered and culturally responsive, like using students' narratives as the basis for much of our work. We also looked for practices that were developmentally appropriate and engaging, like using children's books from diverse authors. Further, we used technology in meaningful ways, specifically digital storytelling, to help students hone skills and learn more about themselves. We also looked at practices that allowed us to be transparent in our expectations and instruction, as well as providing effective supports and feedback. Additionally, we needed practices that help students to get to know each other, get to know our university so they felt a part of the community and ways to be involved and supported during their college experience. We also looked at literature on instructional technology. Specifically, that was used for teaching, engaging, and allowing students to develop and practice skills like writing and critical thinking, college and career readiness skills, and online research. We also looked at technology research that provided multimodal practices that allowed us to meet more of students' needs. We used tools like videos, PDFs, podcasts, websites, Google Docs, surveys, digital storytelling platforms, and tools. In addition to the 3 previous literature review topics, we looked at higher education, course delivery formats, and cognitive science. For higher education, we looked specifically at literature around first-year seminars that were appropriate and effective at the college level and for new, underrepresented, and underserved college students, like the college students we have. We have a significant population of first-generation Hispanic and non-traditional students, so we looked at research on supporting these specific populations. We also looked at course delivery formats that were appropriate for college students, especially again for our population, and this caused us to link to blended learning formats. This format allowed us to provide an experience in class and an online component that was accessible, personalized, and relevant. The blended learning allowed us to provide ample support and feedback throughout the week in different ways, while cultivating students' ability to work with others and on their own. We also looked at cognitive science research, covering specifically brain-based pedagogy that allowed us to look at practices that use the brain's natural processes, as this enables learning to be easier, more efficient, and more enjoyable for students and instructors.
To understand our project, you need to have some background information about our first year class and some of the pedagogical work supporting instruction and assessment. First, our participants. We had 18 new students to the university from diverse backgrounds and majors that started our course with us, and 17 were with us at the end of the course. For instructors, we're both professors of education teaching a first-year seminar for the first time, but we have both co-taught other courses. We also have backgrounds in curriculum development and implementation of high-impact practices for diverse learners and environments using a variety of course formats. Our setting. Our project was completed at a small regional public university in the Pacific Northwest in the United States. We have a 92% acceptance rate and no specific performance-based entry requirements. There are about 4,000 undergraduate and graduate students who are made up of 66% female and 34% male students. 37% are students of color, and most come from in-state. Our university serves a significant population of first-generation students and a growing number of non-traditional and Hispanic students. All university incoming freshmen and transfer students are required to take 2 first-year seminars, one with a quantitative focus and one with a writing focus. Our students self-select courses that meet their interest and scheduling needs. For pedagogical choices, we developed and used a pacing guide. We had weekly Google presentations to inform and guide teaching and learning, weekly activity sheets that engaged students and allowed us to monitor progress and understanding called EOLs, Evidence of Learning Documents, diverse mentor text lists, personal narrative book lists, and a final assessment.
Regarding methodology for a project, we chose a qualitative approach as we felt this would allow us to capture in a rich narrative the experiences, as a series of numbers or statistics really wouldn't tell the whole story or capture the nuances of teaching and learning. We also felt the qualitative approach would allow us to explore real-world problems and generate context-specific professional knowledge. We used action research as we were making changes in real time that would benefit us and students. And as we were teachers of the class, we automatically had participants, so we used convenient sampling for our participant selection approach. For data collection, we used online surveys, student work in and out of class, teacher observations of students in the face-to-face and online learning environments. We also used observation of our own instructional practices. For data analysis, we used Creswell's approach, which required us to prepare data, analyze our data, report results, and interpret the results. To ensure trustworthiness, we used triangulation, member checking, peer debriefing, prolonged project engagement over the 11-week term, transferability, and reflexive auditing. There were several ethical considerations we needed to include. First, on day 1, we were explicit that this class was a work in progress, as it was being offered for the first time, and that adjustments would be made throughout the term based on needs. We also shared with students there would be surveys completed via Google Surveys, and these would be anonymous unless students chose to self-identify. We also had discussions with our students about the work and observations We also held discussions about student work and our observations in confidential spaces when Cindy and I were speaking. We removed all identifiers on the project, and we gave students the option not to have us use their work in this project. Regarding limitations, there are a few. First, this is an 11-week class with a small student population of only 18 students. Some data were based on student opinion and performances and may not be similar to other first-year seminar groups. Our project was completed at a university whose mission, practice, and population may be different from other higher educations, and our course outcomes may differ from other instructors and first-year seminars. While generalizability is limited, the focus of the project was on student learning and less for comparative analysis.
Our participants completed 3 surveys over the term. One at the start of the course that was similar to our end of the year survey, or end of term survey, and then we had a midterm survey that asked questions related to course satisfaction, concerns, and recommendations. The results that we're going to share on this slide have to do with our end of term online survey, where we had 13 of 17 responses. The blue line indicates that students strongly agree, orange agree, gray is disagree, and yellow is strongly disagree. Overall, our students shared that we were providing a warm environment. They were able to learn about university services and the university overall. They learned useful technology tools and were able to examine personal experiences to see how they grew. They also agreed that they learned skills and dispositions and learned to be a stronger writer. The only question that they did not agree or strongly agree on was about learning the skills and dispositions needed for future careers. We could argue that they were learning those in this course, but we weren't explicit in telling them that about the skills they were learning in that area. Open-ended responses are listed over here on the right-hand side of the page. Some of them include that students felt valuable elements were that they improved their writing skills. They enjoyed exploring personal experiences to learn more about themselves. And they liked using children's books and text when we were doing small group activities. Additional findings related to our student coursework included that 14 of our 17 students passed our course, rated on an A to D grade level, with 11 earning A's and B's. In-class assignment completion was higher than online work, and all assignments were completed more fully and accurately by week 5. In addition, 14 of our 17 students submitted a final project, with 3 of them being incomplete and 2 submitting written narratives instead of digital stories, as they had difficulty completing using the technology for the digital stories. And then finally, 13 of 17 submitted the reflection paper at the end of the term that accompanied their digital story. Additional results included findings from the teacher observations. Observations on our in-class work included weeks 1 through 5, attendance was strong, and our attendance decreased later in the term, with 3 students being chronically absent throughout the term. Our students remained more engaged in class if they were required to complete activities for a grade. We also learned that peer behavior impacted small group levels of engagement and depth of work. And as students practiced giving and receiving feedback, their own feedback became more detailed. In addition, completing the evidence of learning document, guided notes, help students attend to critical elements from our course. In addition to in-course work, our face-to-face coursework, we also have observations regarding online work of our students. With instructor feedback, quality of student online work improved. Our students who spent more time reviewing materials and feedback performed better than those who spent less time. Many students met due dates while other students disregarded date requirements. And finally, students engaging in online activities practice career-ready skills without explicit directives.
After reviewing data, we came to the understanding that there were 2 specific insights. One was centered on how the first year experience impacts students, including their connections and relationships to the university, and another is how the learning environment, pedagogy, and professional practice impact students' learning experiences. So for practical implications, we noticed there were some for first-year seminar instructors, the higher education institutions, and the first-year seminar coordinators. For instructors, we feel that there is an essential need to use pedagogy that is appropriate for the students in the context that develop identified knowledge, skills, and dispositions. Also, curricula has to be aligned to the university and course goals as well as to student needs. Following, one must select effective evidence-based course formats that work for their context and students. And lastly, there must be a recognition and preparation to meet students' unique needs who are new to campus, whether as a freshman or a transfer student. For our higher education institution, our findings have led us to believe that we need additional resources, training, and support for instructors as the courses are designed and implemented. Additionally, our higher education institutions need to select first-year coordinators with dispositions for leading and supporting first-year seminar instructors and students. And lastly, we need our higher education institutions to continually evaluate student services and supports for effectiveness and identify supports for students' needs who are not having those needs met. Findings also shed light on some needs for our coordinators. One, they have to select instructors who are interested in and have the knowledge, skills, and dispositions for co-teaching if the first-year seminar is proposed as a co-teaching class like ours was. Our first-year seminar coordinators also have to offer training and mentoring with ongoing feedback for instructors who are less familiar with co-teaching and/or working with our new students. And third, we need coordinators who are going to advocate for instructors and students to maximize opportunities for teacher and student success. Some additional recommendations that we have focus on research. One is examining course formats and pedagogy that are appropriate for students new to higher education and taking first-year seminars. Methods and models for different populations of students. Examining variables that impact student achievement in hybrid learning experiences, especially how to address variables that hinder learning. We also need research that explores best practices for instructor training and support while working with first-year seminar experiences, and what training practices are needed for first-year seminar instructors for onboarding first-year seminar students, particularly first generation, non-traditional, and at Hispanic serving institutions. While we did build community and relationships, we did find that there were students who still felt disconnected to peers, instructors, and the university. In summary, we believe first-year seminars have positive impact on most students if certain practices are used, if instructors are effective facilitators in the selected course format and selected approaches for the content and population, and if all involved have supports needed. But despite our efforts and support from our first-year coordinator and campus student supports, not all students were successful in meeting course goals. While we believed all students gained some knowledge, skills, and dispositions needed in and after college, some students struggled and did not find connections. Thus, we believe there is a need for additional research and analysis of other first-year seminar experiences and practices where students found success.
So in conclusion, we found a quote that we feel that represents our beliefs about first-year seminars. A first-year seminar is a great course for exposing first-year students to the academic and everyday challenges ahead, all while providing students with a plethora of tools for facing their challenges head-on. We believe that first-year seminars have positive impacts on most students if certain practices are used. We also understand what's needed. research and analysis of other first-year seminar experiences and practices that explore effective first-year seminar practices and formats for those in similar and different contexts and with varying needs. For more information on our project and materials we created, please take a look at our paper.
Please contact us with questions or comments. We'd love to hear practices you use to better meet the needs of first-year seminar students in any context, especially those in blended learning environments. Thank you for taking time to join us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.